The Pioneers, on the meantime, are moving back out, capturing what should rightfully be his. But he really needs to kind of move out and do something about that left-hand victory point, because he has pretty good control over the middle for the time being, but he's got to be careful about spreading out. A single machine gun team in the middle is good, but with all of... Oh, yeah, look at that. He's got the triage center going up already. They have hand grenades. They have Browning automatic rifles. They have what looks like triple flamethrower engineers. Oh, my God. That is an army that is hell-bent on getting out machine gunners and snipers and that sort of thing. Meanwhile, the flamethrower Pioneers are just kind of moving up and capturing this fuel point. Just kind of capturing everywhere, actually. They're really good at just kind of splitting up and capturing stuff. Taking control of this victory point, going to grab that afterwards. So they'll have a little bit of time to themselves. But as you can see, the riflemen now planting landmines. Korean Army has definitely gone ahead and already upgraded. As you can see, yes, he has infantry right now. Dropping landmines on the bridge. That'll come into play later, I'd imagine. Pretty much any landmines you put... I rarely ever see landmines that don't get blown up. Put a landmine anywhere, somebody will eventually step on it, unless you drop it like at the very end of the game or something like that. But as you can see, the riflemen now down here capturing this point once again. And as I mentioned, it's very hard right now for STILET to find stuff that he can put out there against it. Krieg Barracks going up right now. And double snipers, double Vet 2 snipers. That is brutal. Oh, look at the kills that they just inflicted on all of these riflemen here who are forced to just kind of bail out of there. For some reason, not retreating. There we go. They should definitely retreat. But the double snipers, particularly annoying, sneaking around here in the middle. They really indirectly cover that area. By which I mean, even if they're not there, you kind of have to assume that they're there. We have a hand grenade going into the building. Oh, no! And the hand grenade, tossed by the rifleman behind the hedges, manages to take out all three of the machine gunners right now. Meanwhile, we still have double snipers away at the rest of the riflemen, though. That adds up pretty quickly, even though you'd think it might not. As you can see, the flamethrowers now are moving into the center. Unfortunately, getting suppressed before they can get the burn on. The double snipers continue to pick away at some troops here. The flamethrower pioneers stalling out. A lot of casualties happened on that side, but the biggest was the fact that it looked like Korean Army was able to take out that heavy machine gun team. Still more firing happening in the center. Again, the double heavy machine guns in the buildings here makes this a nightmare. This is absolutely just a horrific kind of fight to have to deal with if you're an infantry-based player. As you can see, the Pioneers have fully recaptured all the stuff on the left, and for the most part, it looks like LuckySTILET has control over his side of the map. The flamethrowers and the riflemen here just kind of getting rid of some of these gentlemen. I guess that was just their flames, not his. But for the most part, the line has been drawn. The map is pretty evenly split. However, of course, LuckySTILET is up 2-1, meaning it is 448 to 339 victory points right now. Again, down here on the south, he is being forced to recapture this munitions point. But that is, of course, one of the most important aspects of this game, is just being constantly aware of the little uneventful stuff that you have to do all over the map. You know, all these little captures that you have to keep doing. These gentlemen here, for example, this gentleman, singular here, he has lost his partner in crime. Riflemen now moving out once again. Obviously, these guys have the Pioneers in sight. They're going to go down there and do some damage. Let's take a look around right now to see. We do have a supply yard up right now for Korean Army. Meanwhile, oh, it looks like that Krieg Barracks was eventually canceled. So perhaps STILET has decided, or has correctly identified, that he saw grenades. He saw Browning automatic rifles, and he knows that it's going to be a long time before anti-tank guns are up. Perhaps he is going to be going and getting some sort of an armored car, Puma, that sort of thing. Looks like these gentlemen were just able to capture that munitions point, but that is going to be a short-lived victory, as the riflemen are going to undo that claim for the time being. Up in the north, you can see double snipers in a building. Look at that. Double snipers just going to fire away like crazy here, especially burning away at all of these gentlemen. That's funny. Anyhow, hand grenade being tossed in the building right now. Double snipers getting out of the way just in time, having no problem with that, sniping away, getting back into the building, and making all those gentlemen have to get out of there. That is pretty clever indeed. By the way, pause. That reminds me of a story. I remember I'm always mocking the fact that the bales of hay here have got heavy green cover behind them, because most of the time you're standing behind a pile of soft, fluffy hay, and you're getting heavy cover from heavy machine guns. Someone suggested to me that perhaps the only reason that it was given heavy cover was so that you would take extra damage when you are being hit by a flamethrower, because flamethrowers do damage inverse to the cover you're standing in, so they do more damage to heavy cover. But I guess logically, if you're standing in a pile of hay and someone sets fire to it, you would expect that you take more damage than you normally would. So I think that was the logic there, was to burn you faster. And so unfortunately, though, you rarely ever encounter the flamethrowers burning those things down. Instead, you usually get heavy cover for free, from heavy machine guns and stuff. But, you know, it's kind of interesting. Anyhow, more towards the center, we can see big, massive attack going on by Korean Army here. He has completely moved in here by attacking from multiple directions at the same time, pushing up on the weaknesses and using the flamethrowers. Look at this. Decapping during fighting. Fantastic job of just making sure that he actually gains something for doing this. Unfortunately, his entire army steps on a landmine right then. That was not good, and these gentlemen all end up retreating and just retreating right across a couple of landmines here. Heavy machine gun team has accurately recognized the fact that his snipers right now are about to be flanked. And you can see he actually has this nice little retrograde firing pattern set up, and he's being used to suppress all these riflemen here. The snipers keeping their distance. Ooh, hand grenade goes off, but they were able to retreat in time. And just a good coordination of units here by both players, honestly. I mean, LuckySTILET is doing a fantastic job coordinating his units, even though he is being forced out of the area at the time being. And meanwhile, Korean Army is doing a great job at just keeping the pressure up on all areas. You can see these riflemen continuing to be annoying and capping down south. And these guys are really tough with hand grenades and Browning automatic rifles. They're kind of hard to deal with. Landmines ahoy, knocking over a telephone pole. That's not good. But as you can see, the flamethrower gentleman here doing some pretty good damage. Really doing some pretty good damage, actually. Vet 2 Pioneers with flamethrowers. That was what Pioneer spamming was all about, was just big blobs of these guys burning down infantry like mad. That's pretty bad. Although you can see Korean Army is doing a good job of getting out here into the middle of no cover because, of course, since flamethrowers do inverse damage to cover, if you're standing in zero cover, you actually take a lot less damage from fire. But it doesn't matter. Also, by the way, people always yell at me for not mentioning this. If you happen to be standing in water, it takes, you know, almost no damage from fire. I don't know why I'm talking about flamethrowers so much, but there's plenty of them on the field, so why not? Anyhow, in the middle, somebody almost tried capping this, but then ran away at the sight of a bunch of flamethrowers running by. This is kind of an odd positioning of two singlet Pioneers here with flamethrowers, just kind of hanging out in the middle. But as you can see, this gigantic blob by Korean Army is now back in the middle. He is just being really busy here, building his motor pool, keeping his riflemen up to date. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riflemen squads and 4 flamethrower engineers. Massive. He has correctly identified the fact that he has a long time to play around with this sort of thing. And oh my god, look at that. The very first armored car gets out on the field and immediately hits the landmine that he placed there quite a long time ago. An excellent way to begin that. I do not believe... Oh, yes! Look at that. So he does have his howitzer shot because, of course, he is infantry. Be careful, though, infantry, and make sure that since that thing does have a damaged engine, he's able just to get the howitzer off on it right away. Always important. Wow, even blowing up his own gentleman there, but that's fine. Plenty more gentlemen where that came from. More towards the south, we can see the Pioneers are just kind of capping away at some of the lost territory there. But that was definitely a big blow because, of course, LuckySTILET saved up all of his pennies to make sure he got a nice Puma out on the field. And by the time he got it, instantly destroyed without having really any effect on the battlefield. So pretty cool there indeed. Looking back towards Korean Army's base, we can see here that he is finally getting sticky bombs. Not a bad idea. And, yeah, things are looking pretty interesting. Double snipers, though. 16 kills and 8 kills. I mean, there is no shortage of targets for these snipers, that's for sure. I'm going to take a look right now. Ooh, what was that? I just heard another landmine go off. Oh, yeah, we actually saw them plant that landmine. Landmines are planted all over the place here. I'm going to go ahead and jump on down to LuckySTILET's point of view, so mind the color swap on the mini-map, and take a look around and see what's going on here. So the flamethrowers are just going to be burning down the house today. Oh, look at that. It looks like he actually set off that own mine accidentally by using the flamethrowers. The snipers are moving up here towards the north to try and help cover. It looks like, I have no idea, did these guys sneak in through the back? Perhaps, because you can see he even tried to plug up that hole a little bit better. The double snipers, however, though, inflicting some pretty good damage. The riflemen, down to only 2 gentlemen, are going to have to retreat the long and hard way out of there. And oh, they both get sniped on the way out of there. That's no good. The riflemen continuing to push on the left and on the right and on the bottom. Just lots of good attacks going on here. Korean Army is doing a fantastic job of just placing his army all around the map at the same time, while simultaneously actually having a blob. Here we go once again with the Puma strategy. The Puma is on the field right now, and this is where it will shine if it can avoid getting sticky bombed a little bit too much. It's very difficult and painful to kill a Puma using only sticky bombs, but you can certainly do it. As you can see, there's fire all over the place. Oh god, double flamethrower Pioneers are now getting in on the mix too. Unfortunately, with this huge crater here from all of the howitzer shots, these gentlemen are standing in yellow cover instead of you know, red as they may be. Sticky bomb once again. Man, that thing took a ton of damage from that. One more sticky bomb goes off, and it is actually able to completely kill that Puma. Puma armored car is down. So once again, 2 Pumas in a row. That's really bad. We do, however, see that LuckySTILET has begun spending points into terror. He has propaganda war up right now. Rifleman taking the long trek around the map. Oh, completely flanking this heavy machine gun team. That is unfortunate. Definitely not going to be able to get set up or anything like that. Going to have to retreat. You could tell he was maybe thinking about getting in that little outhouse up there, but instead he figured he'd probably get hit by hand grenades and whatnot. Sniper's doing a good job stalling a little bit just in time for this guy to set up in the wrong direction. Oh, that's unfortunate here. He's going to get cover again, and these guys are going to have to get out of here. So more towards the center, we can see that the Pioneers are doing their best to try and recapture some of this. But oh yeah, we do have a T-17 armored car in the field right now, and he, with one fell swoop, destroys the sniper and is now just going to wreck into this machine gun team here. The T-17 armored car, by the way, I'm just going to go ahead and pause and show everybody who doesn't know what this is. A lot of people, by the way, a lot of people who view this channel don't actually know everything about Tales of Valor units, but the T-17, by the way, came out with Tales of Valor, and as a result, Allied players can choose to add it to their army or not if they own that expansion. It replaces the M8 Greyhound. It's a bit weaker at first, but it has way more damage and a much faster rate of fire